For folks that don't know, my name is Byrne and I'm joined by an illustrious panel of players today, including Jay Foster, Kelly McLaughlin, LaTia Jacquise, and we are about to embark on a horrifying adventure in the world of Grim Hollow. From its deep and forbidding forests where horrible beasts lurk, to the hulking and impenetrable mountain ranges where lost legacies lie, the landscape of Etheris is formidable. Large swaths of it are shrouded in darkness, and where our adventure takes place is in the Astoyan Empire, where the sun never rises, and the realm is ruled by a coterie of vampires known as the Crimson Court, or by the commoners who live in Astoya, sometimes often simply the nobility. Our adventure starts in a small village called Byrne, a tiny village deep inside the stillborn forest, almost indiscernible from the dark woods that surround it. The wooden hovels that are built between the massive wooden oaks, each home is grey with moss and almost entirely swallowed by ivy. The crumbling ruins of an ancient tower act as the village's common hall and fort, which is the only protection from the monsters that prowl in the surrounding woods. The well beside the forlorn tower disappears into the dark deep beneath Astoya, yet still provides icy water to the villagers. You three are gathered inside the crumbling fort. Lord Hamlin, and I put Lord in quotation marks because it's what the village calls him, though he doesn't hold any actual government title. He's simply kind of the most appropriate official, kind of forced to be the alderman of this small village. A fairly unimpressive man. He's human, short in stature, with thinning hair combed across his scalp, and his face is affixed with an always apologetic expression as he looks up at you.
So you'll see a very old elf. They look their age. Paper-thin skin. She has this scarlet dress and a string of pearls around her neck. This is Mabel, as she saunters around with a very long cigarette holder that she's been smoking the same perpetual cigarette for about 300 years. Just kind of looking deeply unimpressed with everything that she sees.
You see a very tall, very pale man, about 6.5 feet tall, jet black hair, a pair of round spectacles on his face, and he has a crossbow ready at his side. This is Vincent Carmichael, renowned monster hunter.
Contrary to the very stoic and intimidating figures assembled here, you see the equivalent of an 8-year-old child looking for all the world like she's about to go on the best backpacking adventure of her life. But she is also in dark robes, little bottle, like a bandolier of like little potion bottles and stuff draped across her chest. Her face is wooden in appearance, looking for all the world like an animated doll. She is a Wexelkind. The Honorable Professor Dr. Micola St. Augustine X is here to serve you.
Great. Did I get Micola out of that?
Micola,
okay,
yes.
Great.
Or Professor Doctor is fine too.
Professor Doctor.
I appreciate you making the time to be here with me. Unfortunately, over the last week or so, we've had several of the folk living inside this village killed in horrible ways. Though the dead have passed over the last few days, none of us have been brave enough to move the remains. Something hunts us in this village. And if you cannot find it, our only choice is to leave or beg for aid from the nobility.
Lord Hamlin, finding monsters is my speciality.
Yes, I've heard of folk of your particular profession. That is why I am glad you received my letter.
Look, I haven't moved in 300 years. I'm not about to move now.
Yes, Mabel. I appreciate you coming too, although your involvement really is not necessary. We didn't want to bother you in your...
Well, I'm here now, so were you gonna send me home now?
No. Your participation in these affairs are most appreciated.
Do you have any idea of what might be killing these people?
I couldn't even begin to guess. We've had beasts, monstrosities move through the village before, but in the past, Flynn has been able to chase them off. He was a brave man.
You said you still have the bodies, correct?
They are inside each of the places where they died. Flynn and Soren were killed within their homes, but Pris, she was killed in the chapel.
Well, maybe we can go to these places and see what has been done to them, if we can find out what has...
Precisely what I was thinking, Professor Doctor.
Thank you.
Whenever you speak, Micola, he always acts a little surprised, glances at you, and then, unlike the other two who he never makes eye contact with, he sort of looks at you a couple of times like he really doesn't want to, and then addresses Vincent instead of yourself, and says, yes, the bodies may hold some clue for someone of your renown.
Very well. I'd say that we start our investigation immediately.
At this point, I've got to keep moving. The cold plays havoc with my joints.
I might have something for that, Miss Mabel, if you would like me to...
Maybe a salve.
I could do... yes, I could do a salve.
For my skin.
Yes, for your...
It's loose.
Just for your skin, for your joints, yes, we'll talk on the way.
Let's go to Flynn's house.
Very well.
It was the first one on my list.
Are we being led, or are we going by ourselves?
Well, you would know the way being a local, Mabel, to Flynn's house, so you would be able to guide them. Certainly,
Thanks,
Lord Hamlin does not want to leave the tower at all.
All right, Mabel, lead us on.
This way.
As you arrive at Flynn's lodge, you can see in their front yard, there's a skinning pole for dressing deer in the front yard and a tanning rack. The tanning rack you can see as you approach has kind of pale leather stretched across it, kind of mid-process, and then the dark archway of the door in front of you. The door is open.
The door is open. I say we go in. I don't think we need to knock. I assume they're dead.
Is there anyone inside?
From being standing outside, you don't know for sure, but this place does have a sense that it is abandoned.
I sense death within this place.
Mr. Vincent, perhaps you can scout it out for us first, as the renowned monster hunter.
Of course. And I stroll into the house.
The home is decorated with countless kind of hunting trophies. It's kind of musty in here. Some of them are very dusty. There's, sets of antlers mounted on the wall, a bear pelt across the floor, a mounted wolf's head, probably a deer head as well mounted in here. You do smell what looks like kind of butcher's offcuts beside the fireplace, bone and gristle in a pile. And then a shape above the fireplace. As you look up, you can see blood spatters kind of dripped down the wall before above the fireplace is, from kind of the chest up, a human torso. The arms are missing, but the face is there. And it looks almost like it has been wall mounted in the mockery of a hunting trophy.
I'm going to listen and kind of stand there for a second.
Can I get you to make for me a perception check?
It's
Solid.
It's going to be an 11.
How comfortable do you think Vincent is being in the presence of a dead body?
Absolutely comfortable. It's his preferred place to be.
You're selling it a little too hard.
He's a monster hunter. He sees death all the time. It's his profession.
You feel completely comfortable in the presence of a body. In fact, it's your preferred state of being. But don't notice anything else.
It's a grisly scene, but you can come in. It's perfectly fine in here.
What was that? Are you saying we're good to come in?
Yes, you're good to come in.
All right.
Okay.
Here's a body.
That's not even most of it, buddy. Where's the rest of it?
Well, there's some meat on the ground there I still haven't identified, but my friends, I suspect foul play.
You mean he didn't die of natural causes?
It appears not.
How much are we paying you?
An exuberant amount, I assure you.
I would like to look around the room to see if I can perhaps find the other pieces of this poor soul.
Sure, not a problem.
Did you say morsel?
Poor soul!
You can make, it can be perception or investigation, and you'll learn different things depending on which you wish to make.
I'd like to make an investigation check.
Great.
Can I find a basket to help?
Yes, absolutely.
A basket?
Yeah, so you can put the pieces in.
Got it. That's going to be a dirty 20 investigation.
Okay. Yeah, great. Just running rings around our monster hunter.
I'm tiny, it's easy.
As Vincent stands kind of before the fireplace, pondering the dead body above, looking up at the trophy, you start some actual investigation, kind of walking around the room, pottering around. If the camera is like a mid shot on Vincent, we just get the top of your head bobbing up and down as you're moving around looking for things. Mabel, you find a basket relatively easily. You don't need to check for that. There are, tools and things lying around inside. The thing, Micola, that you do find is two things. You're pretty sure that the pile of bones and gristle are human.
Okay.
You also kind of look down at the ground, seeing blood spatters that seem to be creating a pattern, and then roll up the bearskin rug and can see a rune painted on the ground in blood.
Do you want some help?
Yes, please.
All right, hold on. I'll put the basket down. I need 2 hands for this. And I'll help you roll up the bearskin rug.
Mr. Vincent, and then you feel a tug on your coat.
Yes, sorry, I was investigating the body. It appears their arms were removed. What did you find? Anything of value?
Yes. And I point to the rune carved in blood underneath the bearskin rug that I have rolled away immediately behind you.
Checking under the rug, brilliant. I would have done that eventually.
I also discovered the pile of bones that was directly in front of you, probably his, and have been chewed on.
You might just make a good monster investigator hunter person someday, too.
I would love to add Monster Hunter to my long list of titles.
Professor Doctor, I imagine you could. This rune appears to be made of blood.
Yes.
Might be the suspect's blood.
Yes.
Do I have any idea what this rune might be?
Let's find out. You make for me a religion check.
Ooh.
And because of your hunting expertise with your monster grimoire, you can, if you're already proficient in religion, you can have expertise. If you're not, you gain proficiency for this check.
26.
Yes. This rune is a sigil that is kind of a prayer said to the archdemon Belith. He embodies fear because he finds mortals to be atrociously funny in the way that they react to fear.
There is one other thing about the bones that have been chewed on. I might know who chewed on them, but it was not me.
If it wasn't you,
I don't think it was
With
me.
these dentures? No way.
well then who?
It was probably the milk look. They're little fey things that live nearby.
Oh, perhaps the body was killed and
then they were like, nom, 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 nom.
Got it. Understood.
If I look at the bones, can I tell how big the teeth would be?
The end of the bone has been chewed off and some of the marrow sucked out from inside. The creature who did this was thorough in their enjoyment of the meal.
They seem to have taken their time with this one. And I'll kind of, I guess, point the hollow bone towards you.
Seems to be missing its marrow.
Yes, thank you. I'm so glad you're with us.
If the Mukluk have chewed on multiple bodies, then we can definitely count them among the list of suspects. If they were only here, perhaps it was a meal of convenience.
Very astute observation.
Thank you.
Let's head to the next house.
The rotting smell wafting from this house greets you long before you get to the doorway this time. It is really pungent, but also kind of mixed in there. Vincent and Micola, with your passive perceptions, note that like it's a smell of rotting meat, but there's also spice and herbs, kind of like a herby, musty kind of smell mixed in with it.
Smells like rosemary.
I got time.
Actually, you do hear kind of like scratching noises, but they sound very small. Maybe the scurrying of a mouse or a possum across the rooftop. Or sorry, a squirrel. I'm Australian. We don't have
Regional
squirrels.
changes.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I go and peer through the window?
Yeah, absolutely. Make a perception check for me into the darkness.
Whoa, that was almost a 2. 18 plus 3, 21.
Okay, great. The smell is pungent. Like as soon as you put your face up to the window, it just kind of really wafts out at you. And you also see, and I forgot to mention this, Vincent, you probably also hear the buzzing of insects.
I don't see anything moving in there except flies.
All right, let's investigate. And I'm going to open the door and head in.
Okay. The pots are filled, and you note just like a limp hand hanging out of one of the pots. And on the table as you approach, which is probably slightly closer to you as you walk in, you see there is a bowl, like a ceramic kind of, or maybe wooden bowl, with a stew, and just like placed inside it, kind of half submerged up to the nose, is a rotting head.
I suspect we should search the area for runes.
Is it safe? Can I come in?
Oh, you didn't already come in?
No.
You looked through the window. You said it was safe, so...
I said I couldn't see anything.
Well, it's a grisly sight, but I'm sure you're fine to come in.
All right.
Is there a bearskin rug that I can roll on?
There is not, but again, just using Vincent and Micola's passives this time, knowing what you're looking for a little bit more as well, you find a similar rune, a similar prayer made to Bella, painted on a wall this time in the victim's blood. Make another religion check looking at that rune.
That is a natural 20.
Woo! Seeing this second rune, it's very, very similar, but there are some basic changes in it. Whatever this creature is, it's definitely intelligent. You suspect undead because of the way that it is using the infernal text. And each prayer in worship of Beleth, the Archdemon of Fear, these are basically practical jokes.
I don't get the joke.
It seems maybe that they're making a mockery of their 9 to 5.
The priestess is the last body.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect we'll find them also horribly torn apart in something that symbolizes religion.
An affront to religion.
Yes. Although this whole thing is really an affront to religion, let's be real.
Fair enough.
There is also a pot filled with kind of bones and almost nothing but. That looks more similar to the pile you found earlier, and this was probably the actual meal the creature took. Chew on the bones, get their fill, throw them back in the bowl, and then create the rest of the scene in a pantomime.
Do I have any knowledge of specific monsters that prefer bones and bone marrow to meat and flesh?
Let's call this a history check. And you can use your grimoire with this as well.
To add to give myself proficiency in it.
Yeah.
14.
Definitely suspecting an undead. This creature has sharp teeth from the impressions left on the bones. It could be some sort of intelligent ghoul who's just hungering for food, but you don't think a ghoul would set up this scene quite like this. It could be a strigoi, which is a specific breed of vampire that, rather than just drink the blood, is happy to crunch the meat, suck out the marrow, like really has a meal on their creatures, and they are quite powerful.
I think we should turn our attentions to the strigoi. It's a type of vampire.
Ah.
I am an expert in vampire hunting, specifically. Here, take my card.
Thank you. Here, take mine.
Oh, thank you.
I don't have one.
I didn't suspect you would. Mabel, to the priestess.
To the priestess.
You head to the small chapel in the village, the largest building aside from the village hall, but that being said, it's not impressive. It's not as big as this room. People would have to crowd in here during a service. The rune has been painted on the outside of the building this time, as if to kind of mark this place as desecrated ground.
In you go, kid.
All right. I walk in cautiously.
You can see Prissa's torso hangs limp in the center of the chapel. Her arms are kind of out, almost like the wings of an angel, tied at the wrist to the rafters in the wall to suspend her there, with her innards kind of falling out from her rib cage. She has no lower half. The ground beneath her is drenched in her blood. And the wooden statue of Salima at this far end, you can see, has been kind of similarly desecrated.
Micola will look up at the poor body of Perez and say, Mr. Vincent, I think a strigoi is not out of the realm of possibility here.
I agree. I think that's our likely suspect, and I think it's important that we question the creatures that you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
And see if they saw anything or know anything. But it is possible that the vampire that we are after came from below the city. Are you aware of the Undercity?
No.
Bits and pieces, I guess.
Yes, it's beneath Astoria. It stretches for miles. It's a place filled with undead ghouls and vampires. But more importantly, and also somewhat concerning, entrances to the city below are often found in the old ancient ruins around town. The only ruin that I'm currently aware of is the tower that many of the townsfolk are going to for safety.
Prissa's corpse lurches in its restraint.
She's alive.
You didn't check?
It moves a second time, kind of caught in the ropes that hold it, and blood begins to run from the corners of her eyes down her face in tears. Her jaw drops open, and you can see in that moment her tongue was removed as well. And a sound, it starts as a low, before eventually it gets higher and higher into a shriek as she separates into two, and her blood red banshee attacks you. And can I get everybody to roll for initiative?
I did not see this coming.
Should I come in yet? God damn it, rogues.
You're a rogue?
You couldn't tell.
You could probably make a stealth check on the outside of the frame as your bonus action.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool. Make a stealth check for me.
20.
Okay, great. You are further away from it than either Micola or Vincent are. And as I imagine you kind of slightly hoisting your skirt above your knees to quickly get around the corner.
When I get to a corner where I can take a look, I will hoist my skirt a little higher to my thigh where there's a belt of daggers, and I'll grab one of those and then huck it towards this blood banshee. I rolled a 6 and then a nat 1. So
Cool.
So I don't think even with my it's a 12.
That does hit.
Whoa!
Go for damage.
Okay, so 1 plus. Okay, so I get my sneak attack, right?
Yeah.
10 points.
Okay, cool. Look, not a lot. As you get around the corner, throw the dagger in through the doorway, it hits the Banshee kind of around the torso area. And you can see as the dagger passes through, it kind of seems to tear at her incorporeal form. The form, it's like she gets smeared almost in midair. She reacts to it as well, kind of withdraws slightly before her form comes back together. The way she moves is kind of like she's underwater. There's an ethereal kind of unsettlingness to it. Her hair spreading out either side of her.
It's a battle of attrition, guys.
In this moment is probably the first time you notice as Vincent like flares his coat back and you actually see his mouth open and he has fangs. Surprise. I pull out my hand crossbow and I'm just going to start running towards the Banshee and fire my crossbow. Does an 11 hit?
We've found it. We found the AC, and 11 does not hit. As the bolt, just in your hurry to attack, the bolt flies past it, and it drifts to the side to avoid it.
Because we're using the 2024 rules, and I have Vex and Nick. And also, for the record, my crossbow is self-loading. I continue running up, and I'm going to grab my knuckle dagger and slash at the creature.
Make another attack roll.
That's going to be 23.
Go for damage.
And damage. Do I not have a D4? Apparently I don't. Can I borrow a D4?
I'll pick it up. There you go.
10.
Still tears at her incorporeal form, and in fact, she turns her head and looks at you. Her eyes are sightless, but her face is contorted into an expression of grief. Even in her kind of red-like form, you can still see what appear to be tears down her face.
I'm going to use my bonus action to pull out my dagger and say some really cool words in an arcane language. And my dagger's going to glow. I'm going to cast magic weapon. Natural 20.
Whoa! A better monster hunter than the monster hunter?
Yeah,
Better rogue than the rogue?
continually.
5 damage.
5 damage. Okay, cool. Not a problem.
Magical damage.
Instead of the weapon just kind of like drifting through and smearing her form, you tear it, and like a curtain, she kind of comes apart where you have slashed. She reacts very bigly to this, that's a word, and tries to kind of float away from you in this immediate moment. She rises up, throws her head back, and from her comes this guttural as she goes for a scream. I need everybody to make for me a Constitution saving throw.
It's a 19 from me.
17.
Yeah, 17.
All of you in that case only take 8 points of psychic damage.
So the secret seems to be cool arcane words. I'm going to take one of my other daggers from my sort of garter belt.
Yep.
And I'm just going to drag it across my palm, and the wound is going to open up. And I'm going to like cast it out. And as you see like the blood drops come out, they turn into leeches.
Great.
And I'm going to cast consumption.
Okay, great.
14.
Yes, she does not succeed.
Hey. Okay. So now I get to roll my hit die, right?
Mm-hmm. Or you could use your like sanguine dice that you have as part of that.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. 22.
She's in a bad way now.
Okay. And I'd like to use can I use my action to go in and attack as well?
Yes.
All right, I'll run in. So I'm going to tuck my skirt into my garter belt so I can get a good pace going. I will run at the Blood Banshee, and because my buddy's within 5 feet,
Yep.
I'm going to draw my short sword and kind of slash across it in melee.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 13.
That will hit.
Yeah, sweet. And then I'll do my sneak attack plus 4. It's 11.
Mm-hmm.
One more. 13 points.
Okay, cool. Not a problem.
And then I get one of my things back as well.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. As you run up and slash her with the dagger, a line, kind of like floating blood, stays connected to your dagger. You pull away from her, and that line of blood floats through the air, connects with your dagger, and then like reabsorbs into your arm as you thieve her power.
Can I go into my open wound
Absolutely.
before it closes?
Yes, even better.
Sick.
I don't have crossbow expert, so actually shooting my crossbow in melee is not going to be a good choice. So I'm just going to double dagger it. 23.
That'll hit. Go for damage.
9 damage.
Cool.
And then I'm going to go in with my nick for a second dagger attack. Getting a natural 1. You know,
That was such a roller coaster.
I know. I come running in and I get the first blow in there and I'm like, haha. And then the second one I go for the lower cut, but the lower half of her is missing. So I just slice through nothing and I'm like, right, Banshee floating.
On her turn, she spins where she is. She makes eye contact with Mabel, and floating in the air, now that Mabel has come forward, you see her attention just go to Mabel. And she points at Mabel, and she's kind of shrieking, reaches up with a hand to make a corrupting touch attack against Mabel. Unless our monster hunter wants to studied response.
I'm going. No, I wasn't sure when the right time to do that was. So yes, as she goes to attack, I see the opportunity as a professional monster hunter.
Yeah.
To pierce her with my blade in the exact right moment, in the right place, and I'm going to use studied response. So for those of you who want to know, this is a reaction that I can use when a creature within 60 feet of me takes the attack action, and I get to make an attack against them. So
Go for it.
that's going to be a 24.
That will definitely hit.
Save me, Vincent.
I do 10 damage.
She reaches up to attack Mabel. You step in, stab the dagger towards the center of her form, and she kind of just bursts.
Blood everywhere.
Which rains down upon all of you. Mabel smiles, as if almost enjoying this rain. And you can also heal 8 hit points because her wail did not affect you.
Thank you, Vincent. You saved me.
You seem to really enjoy the explosion of blood.
I do blood things.
I also do blood things.
I don't do blood things.
No?
No.
No drinking?
No.
No magic?
No. I mean, I guess I can heal blood.
That's a blood thing. I think that we're just all really good with blood.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm trying to form a bond here. This is how I make friends. Okay?
Oh no, I'm buying in.
Blood bond, right?
Oh, I see what you did there.
Thanks, Mabel. As I was saying before, we were rudely interrupted by
Didn't
a
you
blood
say
banshee.
that the only ruin that you knew was the tower?
Yeah, the tower where the townsfolk are going to think that they're safe, but ruins are often the entranceway into the Undercity.
And who is dragging everyone into the tower?
Right. As a great investigator.
Teeing you up, buddy.
Lord Hamlin seemed very suspicious at the beginning of this quest.
He did not want to look at me, and I'm so adorable. So now I'm going to go and stare at him very hard and make him uncomfortable.
And he looked at me a whole lot, which made me very uncomfortable. And perhaps because I haven't told you yet, I am a Dampier.
No way.
I know, shocked. Please don't judge me for that.
No, I won't judge you.
Oh, great.
We have a blood bond.
We do.
Yes.
Which now the joke is even funnier, I suppose.
Yes, it is. That was what I was going for all along. The joke.
But you didn't tell us that you were a Dampier before you said the joke.
So I've been told that my comedy abilities are quite poor. And
You gotta lead with context.
Right. Perhaps we can have lessons on comic relief after this.
I don't know what you're implying.
I think we're going back to the tower.
You return to the tower. There are almost the whole town kind of assembled within the tower, but that's not saying it's a lot of people. It's almost less than 10.
Almost less than 10?
Yeah, as soon as I came out, I was like, that sounds weird.
So it's
So
10?
it's 10.
It's 9. No,
So
you're
that
right.
is
It would
less
be
than
10.
10.
Yeah. All right, you got me. Feel like an animal getting backed into a corner. When you get back there, Lord Hamlin, in quotation marks, is standing towards the center of the room, staring into the fireplace, turns and looks at you. The fireplace kind of slightly dies a little bit as the door opens and closes from the air coming in. He looks a little bit surprised to see you and says, what did you find? Is it destroyed? Is the creature dead? Did you locate it?
Absolutely. We have located it, and we have a prime suspect who we are investigating currently.
Who?
You.
Why do you suspect me?
Am I able to just eye him up and down looking for signs of vampirism?
Sure. Make for me and let's go Arcana check.
While this is happening, I'd like to use my stealthiness to make sure that he doesn't escape. And I want to is there like a board we can place across the door?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to block him so he can't just book it.
Yep.
Would you like some help?
I used the luck point. And I rolled the same thing. What's the DM's ruling on using more than one luck point on a single roll?
Go for it.
Yeah, let's just use them all to not get a 3. That's mildly better. 15.
Okay. As you glance at him, I mean, he's pale. He's sort of stammering. There's no innate signs that he's a vampire. But I'll get with the suspicion both Micola and Vincent to make insight checks as Mabel goes and secures the door.
Love that. 19 for me.
22.
And you can see that he's sweating. He's extremely nervous at this accusation. He's backing away from you. The villagers around him are backing away from him as the two of you kind of advance on him somewhat.
Using my vampire speed.
Yeah.
That's not actually a thing. It's just I'm pretty fast. I'm going to as he starts to back away, I kind of slide in behind him and pull out a dagger.
Yeah. There's a second door in here, and you note above it, carved into the stonework at the top of the archway, is a kind of goblinish, devilish face with this broad, mischievous grin on its face and these glaring eyes, which you recognize given the context. This is a relief of Bellis. Correct. As you threaten the alderman with the dagger, he flinches, winces, terrified in the moment. And then from somewhere else in the room, you hear...
And Mabel will start to pull at the very loose skin around her eye sockets and will start to shred it off around her face, where you see the face of a Strigoi as he starts to tear away the skin and stands up a little straighter, kind of cracking his back a little bit from being hunched over for so long in character.
I was going to make you lose skin cells.
We were blood bonded. I'm so upset. You're the best friend I've ever had.
Is there one of the 9 people near?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just run up and grab them and just sink my teeth into it.
As you sink your teeth into that, everybody roll for initiative.
I can't believe you've done this.
I take my blade away from the Lord and I start running at Mabel, formerly Mabel, the artist formerly known as Mabel.
Mabel's still there, she's just on the floor.
This is horrible. This is worse than all the grisly deaths that we saw because I knew you.
Happy Halloween.
I'm going to fire my elemental bolt
Great.
at Mabel's face.
Do I count as half cover? Like,
24.
yeah, I think that hits.
That's going to be, sadly, only 11 damage. My crossbow, I like hit a little switch and it like switches gears to a special chamber, and I shoot out a bolt that has a little vial of like icy blue liquid in it. And as it pierces you, it explodes and you get like ice blasted all over your face. And then I run in and take that opportunity to attempt to stab you in the throat.
Cool. You have advantage on this because of Vex.
Right.
Weapon
So
mastery,
mean.
hand crossbow.
Well, you know, you're not very cool for lying to us this whole time.
Uncool, man.
You say as I drive my dagger, I assume a 23 hits.
Yeah, you got it.
Can I borrow your D4 to stab you?
Oh, now. Here you go, buddy.
I rolled a 4, so that's great. 10 damage. 10 more.
Super happy for you.
How are your hit points?
I've got him.
Cool. Great.
They're there. I'm really sad on the inside, but that's not going to stop me from attempting to mind spike you. So I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
So much hostility.
You just ripped your skin off
that
and
is-
cackled evilly. Right?
That's a 16.
Okay, you succeed, which means you're going to take half of 3d8. Oh, gross. Whatever. You take 4 points of psychic damage.
Valiant.
The villagers in here don't know what to do. They're beside themselves with fear. They corner or crowd into the corners of the room, which is very difficult because it's a circular chamber, but basically find anywhere to hide. The alderman runs to the far side of the fireplace, ducks behind a table. Mabel, or the artist formerly known as Mabel, what would you like to do?
I'm going to re-perform the spell that you saw earlier. I'm going to cast Consumption, was it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Wait,
So again,
you're a Strigoi and you still get your blood rogue stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Gross.
You might say he transformed into a Strigoi.
Rules available in Grimoire.
Yeah, you're in melee with me, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I will.
And you're doing you're doing a spell, so that doesn't count as
Correct.
the attack action.
Yes, it's not an attack action.
You fool. Well, no, I'm the fool. You're not a fool. You're actually quite smart and
Yeah. So
getting past my defenses.
I will take the sort of limp body that's like in my hands and just toss it to the other end of the room, like effortlessly. And then with that same hand, it'll come back. I'll cut it, and the blood will start coming out, and you will see the leeches coming towards your face as I just like palm your face with it.
Yeah.
And you need to make a Constitution saving.
Actually, you do not. I got it wrong before. With consumption, you only make a save at the end of your turn to try to resist the spell. So the first damage is automatic.
Oh!
When you
Hey!
started that sentence, I was like, nice. And then you ended it, and it was worse. it was worse.
So that's 16 points.
Wow. So mean.
And that was a bonus action.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
Never mind about how
I
I'm
will,
doing.
I'm gonna also, just for the sheer irony of it, with my hand like across your face, I'm gonna tilt your neck and bite into your neck.
Wait, I'm a vampire.
You're a dump here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You still got
However,
I still got blood.
this is an attack action.
As you tilt my neck back, you think you have an opening, but I'm totally stabbing you like right in the armpit.
That sounds funny, but that's actually probably the best place to stab.
Yeah, he like tilts my head and I'm just like, bam, right there, you know? That's gonna be a 24.
Nice.
Where was this earlier?
I used this earlier. Or the rolls, you mean?
Yeah.
I saved them all for you, friend. That's another 10 damage.
Gee, all right.
Your D4 keeps rolling 4s, and I'm just really happy.
Not
about
for
that.
me, it doesn't. Okay.
Are you dead yet?
No.
Okay, then bite me.
Yeah,
worked.
so like, was it a dagger? So you sink it into like my armpit and I'll like recoil, but like as I do, I'll like lunge back in with leading with my fangs. And I rolled a 17 to hit.
Yep.
Cool.
I have a 16 AC, so good job.
So that's max damage on that. So that's 10 points of piercing damage.
Ouch.
And I need you to make a Constitution save. DC is 13.
Got a 4?
So you'll take 3 points of necrotic damage on top of that.
Okay, cool. I am still alive. I'm perfectly healthy.
You also regain 3 points of health from draining
I
blood.
hate that.
And you also regain a Sangromancy dice as part of
I
your
hate
vampire
that so much.
transformation.
What?
Save me, Professor Doctor. I embrace the bite and I tilt my head around and I bite you.
I was like, are we gonna make out?
This is the equivalent of a vampire makeout session now. Do I still add my intelligence to?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's going to be a 15.
That does hit. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So that's going to be.
I shed my skin armor, so
It was a bad roll, so that's only going to be 4 damage. But I do gain some hit points back from that. I gained 4, so we're sitting at 6.
Cool 6.
And then I'm going to, I'm drinking your blood and we're having this very intimate moment. I stab you in the armpit again.
just like withdraw and then stab it back in. Same wound.
Getting a 16, which hits.
That does hit.
Like, what's the logistics here?
From Michaela's point of view,
Oh, you can do it.
You can totally do it.
For science.
Vincent, I need you to make me saving throw.
Oh, cool. What kind of saving throw?
Con.
15.
What's your spell save DC, Mabel?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have leeches.
14.
You succeed the save, the spell ends.
Fool.
Bringing us to Micola.
I don't know if I should be seeing this with my young eyes. So I'm going to throw a chromatic orb at my former friend Mabel. Cut it out. Oh, that was almost terrible. That's going to be a 21 to hit you. I'm sorry, 24 to hit you.
24. Yes, that hits.
Why are you checking? Ooh, yay. Ooh, yay. Ooh, yay. Let's see. I've got to pick a damage type. It's thunder damage. 18 points of thunder damage. It's a sonic boom against the side of your head.
Oh, you see Mabel kind of go slack for a minute before they kind of regain themselves.
Vincent knows that vampires are particularly difficult to kill, and that someone transforming into a vampire might not be reduced to 0 hit points the first time they go to 0 hit points.
The first time.
The first time.
Mabel.
I will sort of step back slightly from you.
Is that an attack of opportunity if he does that?
I feel like the description of slightly.
I'm no longer on your neck.
Also, I didn't use my studied response. Okay. But.
So I'll pull away slightly, and then I will slash that wound on my hand again, and I will just flick it downwards, and this stream of blood comes out, but holding a form almost, and then I grip it, and it becomes Crimson Lash.
Gross.
And I'm gonna hit you with it.
That's an attack action.
I will use studied response. So we are basically about to stab each other. at the same time. And I think just for a theme, I think that both, even if this attack somehow kills you, I think that you should still land your attack because I think it's going to be awesome. But here we go. One last, I pull it out of your armpit and I stab you in the ribs. Getting a 27 for... Oh. That time it rolled a 1. So that's going to be 7 damage.
They step back from you, their crimson lash forms, they twirl it through the air behind them to bring it forward, and you, bleeding from the neck and other wound, there's like blood dribbling from your face from where the leeches were, step in, stab, and Mabel just explodes into blood as you strike her right in the heart and destroy her once and for all.
Blood bond ended.
And that is where we will leave our adventure for today. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and checking it out. I would be remiss if you enjoyed seeing these mechanics. The Grim Hollow Kickstarter is currently live, and some of what we used here today is part of that Kickstarter, so go check it out. And then just quickly down the line, a massive thank you to my players today. Thank you to GameHoleCon. Jay, where can folks find you if they want to?
I am a person that resides on the internet, so you can find me at Swole Initiative, pretty much everywhere.
Kelly?
I am Kelly from the Dungeon Dudes. You can find us everywhere on the internet by looking up Dungeon Dudes. We also check out the Drakenheim setting, also by Ghostfire Gaming.
I'm LaTia Jacquise, and you can find me everywhere at LaTia Jacquise or at my website, LaTiaJacquise.com.
Thank you so much.
That was good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thank you. And no thanks to you, Jay.
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
That's so cool. Wow.
You got the coolest note.
You got the cool one.